Hey y'all, it is your favorite business coach, Ellie, aka Ellie Talks Money. And this week's podcast episode is a little bit different. So, I recently started a new series called More Money Mondays on my Instagram page where I share motivational tips to get you started for an amazing Monday so you can have an amazing, profitable, and money filled week. So, this week's More Money Monday was super impactful. And since it's new, I want to make sure that my listeners on all my platforms are tapped in. So, this week's podcast episode is a recording of my More Money Monday where I talk about the best way to expand your wealth being expanding yourself and how to lean into the expansion that is probably already happening in your life and how to consistently be in a space of renewal and being okay with that, which means you can't hold on to old things forever. So tap in, get your notebooks out. You know it's going to be full of value, and I hope you enjoy. Listen, everything you need to change your life is already within you. You need to believe that it has to work or it has to work. You got this. Scale your business, make more money, create your best life, and let's get elevated. Welcome to the podcast. Expanding. And that's what I want to talk to y'all about today. I want to talk to you guys about expansion, okay? So I just got off a plane, but I don't know if you guys remember last week, I told you guys that I was going to show up for More Money Mondays every Monday, whether I'm in America, whether I'm in Paris, whether I'm somewhere else in the world, that I was going to show up every Monday to keep my word to myself and as well to keep my word to you. So last week I asked y'all, what are some things that you are going to commit to doing in this next week? Because remember, when you skip out on a commitment to yourself, you cheat yourself. You end up losing a little bit more trust in yourself. You are not able to show up for yourself and change your life and change your circumstance. So keeping your promises to yourself is so important. Whatever you wrote down on your to-do list today, if you didn't do it, you cannot afford to break that promise again tomorrow. Whatever you set out to do today, if you were not able to complete that task, make it a promise to do it tomorrow or by the end of the week. You have to get into the habit of keeping promises that you make to yourself, because this is going to show in your character, it's going to show in your personality, and you will then really be able to bet on yourself, because you know that when you tell yourself you're going to do something, you come through and you do it. And this increases your relationship with yourself, so that when it's time for you to show up for your business, when it's time for you to show up and get these sales, when it's time for you to show up and do whatever is necessary to get funding, you already can commit to yourself that you are going to do it. Somebody comment the word commit. Somebody comment the word commit. Yes, y'all were here last Monday. Somebody comment the word commit. So I just got off a plane. I'm in another country, but I said I gave my word to do this every Monday, at least for the foreseeable future. So God willing, I'm going to show up every Monday. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is expansion. And of course, I would have been on here earlier, but I was on a plane. It's a lot. So it's 2 a.m. here in Senegal, and I don't know what time it is over there, but it's definitely earlier. But I want to talk to you guys about expansion, okay? You are meant to keep expanding. And as you keep expanding, so should your assets, so should your wealth, so should your mindset, and so should your circle. The problem a lot of us face is that we are going against the natural expansion that we are supposed to have. Do you guys know that every 7 years your cells renew? Every 7 years you literally become a new person, just in a bigger or more adult body. Every 7 years. So you quite literally are not the same person today that you were 7 years ago from today. So this is why our birthdays, age 7, age 14, age 21, age 28, and then again, age 35 5 are so significant because these are your 7-year renewals. So let me ask you this. If you know that you as an individual expand and change and renew every 7 years, why do you insist on doing the same things you were doing last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? You are literally a new person. So you cannot keep doing the same old habits. If you know that you are going to be a different human being 7 years from now, inside, then you should also try to make sure that you are a different human being and you are living a different lifestyle outside. Which means sometimes that doesn't mean you can have the same friends. Sometimes it doesn't mean you can have the same relationship. Sometimes it doesn't mean you can live in the same place. It doesn't mean you can keep the same job. It doesn't mean you can keep doubting yourself the way that you used to. Doubt has its time and its place, but you are literally a new person, a whole new rejuvenated individual every 7 years. Why are you still holding on to the same doubt and fear that kept you back a couple years ago? Why? You gotta let that go. You have to let that go. You cannot be an individual that is designed by God to expand, to grow, to change, to create new cells, to create new memories. Everything on us changes every 7 years, but you want to keep making yourself small. You want to keep doubting what God has already lined up for you. God has already said, and nature has already said, you're supposed to be a different person than you were. You're supposed to be in a different space than you were. You're supposed to be achieving new things than what you were doing. But you are doubting the process and having fear, and therefore you're staying stuck in the same place. And I know this was the case for me because 2 significant things happened in my life. At age 21, I had my first child. I got married around 19 or 20, and my first child, Hadim, was born when I was 21. 7 years later, after dealing with an abusive marriage, having 4 more kids, age 28 is when I divorced. Right going into my age 28. And just before I turned age 29, I became a millionaire. All in that 1 year time frame. 27, the marriage ended. Then I had my 28th birthday. In that year, before 29, I became a millionaire. Now tell me that that's not designed. But see, if I hadn't let go of things that needed to be let go of before entering into that 7th year, I wouldn't have been able to expand to where I am right now. And of course, divorce was painful. Moving back home to my mom's house was painful. There are going to be some decisions and choices you have to make that are painful. But ultimately, if you don't make them, you are restricting your expansion. You're keeping yourself small. You're keeping yourself the same. You're keeping yourself in these tight places that don't allow you to grow when God is trying to tell you, trust me, and everything is going to open up. Trust me, and you will be renewed. And this is why it's so key, y'all. If you think back to any of the hardest, most significant times in your life, I guarantee you they happened around that 7-year timeline. I can guarantee you. Because in order for you to be renewed, you have to be destroyed. And some of y'all are fighting this process of destruction. It's hard. It's terrible. It doesn't feel good when you're at the bottom. It doesn't feel good when nothing is lining up. But when I was going through my divorce, crying, stressed, sad, not understanding nothing, and wondering why does it feel like everything around me is falling apart, it had to fall apart in order for the renewal to begin. In order for that 7-year renewal to begin. In order for that expansion to happen. So rather than you running away from the destruction or cowering to the destruction or becoming a victim to what is happening, right? If you're going through a hard time right now, comment me. I'm gonna comment me because there's always something going on. If you're going through a hard time right now, comment me. I want to encourage you, instead of falling victim, instead of falling under the pressure of the destruction, sit with it and have the confidence and the faith to know that after everything is destroyed, it must be rebuilt. God does not destroy without coming back and rebuilding something greater later. You have to see it as the new version, the new expansion, the new cells, the new everything that are supposed to come to you cannot come in the same form that you currently are right now. They can't mix. Old cannot mix with new, right? This new version of you, this expanded version of you needs your full attention. It needs your full capacity. You cannot be holding on to the past and at the same time trying to get the future. You can't. So you have to allow the destruction to happen. And I'm not telling you it's easy. It's not easy, but it's necessary. And it will be worth it. Somebody comment, it's worth it. It will be worth it. So when you're fighting this hard time, fight, keep your head up, keep your chin up, but do not fall victim and feel like, why me? Instead, you should tell yourself, finally, it's my turn. Finally, my renewal is coming. I know I could only be going through this mess. I could only be going through this destruction. I could only be going through this hard time if there's a renewal on the way. Somebody comment, my renewal is on the way. And this is what, when I was on my plane today and I'm just thinking about life, I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I had to just really sit with myself and think about these last years. And that was the message that came to me. Your renewal is on the way. So instead of facing these challenges and saying, why me? It's the time to say, finally, it's me. Finally, it's my turn. Because you have to know, if you're going through this difficult situation, it's only because God has something lined up next. You got to know that. And that's the cycle of life. That's the cycle of it. Snakes have to go through these terrible processes to shed their skin. It's so painful. Some of them can't make it through, right? But after that process of shedding the old, they become their full form selves. And they do this I think it's 3 years, right? This is nature. God destroys with the intention of rebuilding. So you got to stop fighting that process. And if God is trying to tell you, you got to let this person go. If God is trying to tell you, I need you to stay up later and get this work done. I need you to stay consistent and focus on your business. Now is not the time that you can sleep all day. This is not your sleeping season. This is your all-nighter season. This is the season where you have to work a little bit harder. This is the season where all those old habits have to be destroyed. This is the season where you cannot be on the phone because you want to be on the phone. This is the season where you cannot watch Netflix. You're going to have to catch up on that in 6 months. Those shows are not going anywhere. God might be telling you, this is the season where I need you to get uncomfortable. I need to destroy some things in you that are keeping you the same so that you can instead go and be renewed and expand to this version that I need you to be. Because I know I am physically, mentally, no kind of way the same person that I was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. There's no way. We don't even look the same. We don't even talk the same. We would never we don't even attract the same. This that I attracted here, this man, as an example, taking care of my entire Airbnb, setting these things up for me, doing all these things for me in a whole nother country. 7 years ago, me couldn't even have attracted someone like that because I was still stuck in my old. So you got to look at, what are you still stuck in that's causing you to keep attracting the same values, the same people, the same income? Now y'all know I love you, but I got to be real. What is allowing you to keep attracting the same way that you keep thinking about yourself, the same doubt, the same way that your income is the same, your paychecks are the same, your business isn't doing what you want it to do, and it's been the same way for the last year? It's time for us to really look at what are the patterns that are showing up in our life. And when God is telling you to lean into what feels hard, that's because that's what you need to do. It's not easy to change your habits. It's not easy to be destroyed. It's not easy to do things you have not done before. It's not easy. That's why it feels like the world is crumbling down on you. Imagine losing friends, a husband, a house, all that in the same 3 months, a job, breastfeeding, moving back home, mama cussing you out sometimes because she's stressed too. Imagine that's not easy, but that is what needs to happen in order for this new version of you to come through. I want you guys to expand, right? Expand yourself, expand your mindset, push past what you feel like is too hard. Push past what you feel like you cannot bear, because you can bear it. And as you expand yourself, then you're able to expand your wealth. Ooh. That was the bar. I didn't even try to do that right there. I didn't even try to do that. As you expand yourself, you expand your wealth. I got to put that on a shirt. Somebody write that down. Somebody write that down. Screenshot this. Do something and send it to me so I remember what I just said. As you expand yourself, you expand your wealth. I need you to remember that. So what I want you guys to do tonight, in addition to keeping your word to yourself tomorrow, I want you guys to write down a list of ways you want to see yourself, your wealth, expand. How many income streams do you want? How many properties do you want? How much money do you want to make a month? How much money do you want to make a year? I want you to write all these things down. And next to that, I want you to write down, what qualities do you need to have in order to have that type of wealth? Just whatever you think. What qualities do you as a person need to have in order to have that type of wealth? And on the next page, I want you to write, what do you think your routine needs to be in order for you to have those qualities and have that type of wealth? What does your day look like? What does your day look like? So how much wealth do you want to have? The assets, the monthly, the all of that. Then next to it, what qualities do you need to have in order to have that type of wealth? And on the next page, what does your day look like? What does the day of a person who has those type of qualities and has those type of wealth, that type of wealth look like? And when you look at those things, if there's anything that's written down that you are not currently doing, that you are not currently embodying, that you do not currently have, that means it's time to expand. That means you need to submit to the destruction so that you can be rebuilt. Because who you are right now is not in alignment with the wealthy person I know you can be, and that God has already written for you. So in order for you to go from this version of you to that version of you, who has multiple streams of income, who has wealth, who has all the things you wrote on that list, some things have got to change. And so when you look at the qualities, when you look at the routine that you need to adapt, I need you to also look at what's holding you back from having that routine. What are you currently spending your time with? Who are you currently spending your time with that's keeping you from having a daily routine like that, and that's keeping you from having those qualities? And again, whoever you see on that list, whatever you write down as holding you back, it doesn't mean you cannot love that person. It doesn't mean you cannot do those activities. But again, this might not be your season to be on the phone with your homegirl all night. This might not be your season to scroll through TikTok unless you're posting content. This might not be your season to be in that relationship that's taking up all your time. it's not your season. It doesn't mean you cannot go back to that person. It does not mean you cannot catch up with that homegirl in a few months. It does not mean you cannot watch those Netflix shows next year. It's just not your season right now. You can't afford that. You can't afford it. It's too expensive. Because the list of things you have on that list of the wealth you want to have, the assets you want to have, the income you want to have, it's going to require an expanded version of who you are now. As you expand yourself, you expand your wealth. I'm only able to have international property, international Airbnbs, international expansion, because I expanded myself and I allowed God to destroy what needed to go in order to make room for what I actually need. Drop a gem if that's making sense. Drop a gem if that is making sense. Comment needed if you needed this tonight. And you might not even know you needed it. But if this sat with you, if this woke something up in you, if you're going to do your homework, comment needed it. Comment needed it. Because I'm going to go do that activity too. It's something I was already doing on the plane. I have a list, my path to 50 million, my path to 100 million. What do I want to see in my account? What type of assets do I want to have? And then I write down, okay, what is required to get there? And am I currently doing it? And if I'm not, that lets me know I got to shift some priorities. I got to shift some focuses. I got to destroy some habits that are holding me back. I got to destroy some mindset blocks that are holding me back. I have to allow God to take away from me what is not going to lead me to this next version. Because my next 7 years is when I turn 35. I'm 30 right now. So I know at 35, 5 years from now, I'll be a completely renewed person. Completely renewed. So I got to make sure my habits are renewed. My income is renewed. My assets are renewed. My relationship is renewed. Everything about myself needs to expand along with this 7-year regeneration that's about to come. And I want you to look at how far are you from your next 7 years? Comment that in the chat. Are you 1 year away? Is this your current 7th year? Where are you? Right? Thinking from age 0 when you were born. Where are you until your next 7th year? That should give you a timeline. You are literally going to become a new individual by that time. So everything else around you should be new. You should be in Senegal with me having these Airbnbs. We should be flying international together, buying property in West Africa. I'm waiting for you. Your bank account balance should be renewed. Your perception of yourself should be renewed. The people you deal with, especially if there was anyone that was ever disrespectful to you, they need to be gone, and this circle around you should be renewed. What's y'all's number? Let me see. 2 years, 4 years, 1 year. It's a lot of people 1 year away. You see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying? And some of those same people who are saying they're 1 year away, y'all were the same ones who I saw raise your hand that you're going through a hard time right now. God is trying to destroy you so you can come back renewed and better. Please lean in. Please don't fight the process. Please know that this is all supposed to happen. Again, I got my divorce at age 27. Right before I turned 28. And my 7th year, my 28th year, is when I first ever touched 7 figures in my account. God is trying to destroy you in time for this renewal. Please give yourself the space to expand. You got 1 year to expand your mindset, to expand your circle, to expand your income, to expand your assets, to expand your passport, to expand your portfolio. to be the only one with Airbnbs in Senegal. I'm trying to make sure we can all expand and go global. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Comment got it if you got it. So, until our next More Money Monday, here's what I want you to commit to yourself. Whatever you wrote on your list that you need to get done tomorrow, get it done. Get it done tomorrow. Get it done before the end of this week. What you wrote down for the wealth that you want to have, the assets, the income, the monthly income, the portfolio, whatever you wrote on that list. Your next piece, remember, write the qualities. What are the qualities you need in order to have the things on that list? On the next page, what does your day look like? A person who has those assets, how do they spend their day? What is that routine? What is that mindset like? And once you have those listed out, you need to identify what in your life is keeping you from having those qualities. It's keeping you from using your time wisely. And if you happen to write down names, pay attention. If you happen to write down activities, pay attention. Again, it doesn't mean you cannot revisit those people. It doesn't mean you cannot love them. It doesn't mean you cannot do those activities. But this is not your season for that. Because your renewal is on the way and it is not going to wait. You are going to hit that 7th year. Next year, 2 years, 3 years, all y'all's numbers. So you need to make sure that you design your life and expand every other area to match up with this new person that you're about to be in 365 days. You got to do it, sis. Or bro, if I got my brothers in here. You got to do it. You got to do it because your renewal is on the way. Your expansion is literally waiting for you. And I know if mine happened right on time in my 7th year like that, I can only imagine what is going to happen for you, but you got to lean in. All right? I love y'all. Thanks for tapping in. I know it's late. It's probably like 10 or I don't know what time it is on the East Coast. Yes. So I want you guys, I have some questions in the box. I am going to save some of these. But when I come back, I want to see these lists. Matter of fact, tag me in your stories. Let's do another follow-up. Next Monday is our next More Money Monday. And yeah, I want you guys to ask me any questions that you have. And I'm going to let God lead me to what I'm going to talk to you about next week. But today was definitely needed. So stay tapped into my stories. I will be giving more tours of the Airbnb. This is Airbnb number 1. And then tomorrow we're going to go see the other new one that he did for me. So stay tapped in. I love y'all. You got this. It's time to renew. It's time to expand. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye. So if you want to be on the next episode of Get Ellievated, or if you want to be in touch with me and the team, then you can email podcast@getellievated.com or find me on Instagram and email me at hello@ellietalksmoney.com. Either way, we cannot wait to have you on the show and have you apply to be a guest for a part of the live business coaching. I'll see you guys soon.